Hi and welcome to part 2 of our Simplify Your Life series, and in today's episode we're going to be talking about thought clutter.
Yes, and looking at the ways in which the self-talk that you have, the way that you talk to yourself in your head, almost sometimes it can sound a bit like a critical parent if it's negative self-talk, or if you've got positive self-talk going on, that's wonderful. And it would maybe remind you of the people that when you were a child talked to you nicely and kindly and encouragingly. And what we're going to hopefully get to by the end of this episode is you uprooting any cluttered beliefs, any beliefs that weigh you down, that are negative, that result in you accumulating clutter in your life, blocking yourself from success, not being able to be brave enough to follow something you're passionate about, all of those things that hamper you and hold you back. And blasting through those really by finding what you could flip them and turn them around to and install as a positive belief for yourself instead. Clearing through that thought clutter, simplifying it and freeing up space. So as a starting point for exploring your self-talk, if we reflect on all of the different groups that you've ever belonged to, and you can think of these right back from when you were a child. So the first group that you would have been a part of would have been your family unit. Then there would have been friends that you had that were probably family friends, maybe friends through your sort of very early childhood days, then moving through the education system for however much of a part you have perhaps been of that and for however long. So each different stage of your journey through education into professional career. Any cultural sense of belonging to a group or religion or sort of social sort of scene. And in each of those, there will have been what's often called rules of belonging. So these are the implicit and also explicit ways that everybody knew they were part of that group and kind of bought into that group. And some of these would have been very much said and spoken and everybody would verbalise them. Other ones would have been more subtle than that, but you still knew they were there even though they weren't spoken about. So for example, if we think about a family unit, if I give an example of my family, for example, we didn't talk about money, all right? So it was a kind of a unspoken, but everybody bought into this, you don't talk about money in our family. So then for me to feel comfortable talking about money as an adult and in my adult life, I've had to then overcome that rule that I had ingrained and kind of built self-talk around about money in order to be able to freely talk about it and address it and do things with it. So for yourself, just reflect on what was there, both the positives and the negatives. So alongside we don't talk about money, I also had we love each other, we care about each other, we would protect each other, and there was lots of positive things. So going through, started with your family and just make a note of what was going on there. Try and remember the voice that your mother would have had talking to you, that your father would have had talking to you, both in positive and negative tones, and what you then was installed in you, in your sort of belief system about yourself. What did that result in you believing about yourself in order to be part of that family unit? What were the rules that you were following for yourself? And examine those and be curious about those and look at how those have led to a cluttering of sorts, and where some of those rules of belonging have really served you and been positive for you, and then some of them are perhaps starting to hamper you, hold you back, have meant that you've not moved forward in certain aspects of your life. So if we take relationship beliefs, here are some of the really common ones that I come across when working with clients. I should put others first. I feel guilty if I do something for myself. I must support my brother, sister, mother, father, friend. I have no time for myself. I am not worthy of. He or she wouldn't approve if I. Life is a struggle. I'm scared of being seen. I'm scared of success. I'm scared of the unknown. I'm scared of failure. Other people don't like me. Other people don't approve of me. I must keep busy. I always need to be doing something.
So if any of these old relationship beliefs relate to you, write them down, or if there's any other ones that they may have triggered, write them down, and then you can flip them and make them into more positive beliefs. And now we're going to look at work beliefs.
Yes. So work beliefs can be equally hampering if we have ones from the past that have cluttered our thoughts and led to us then becoming quite overwhelmed, and on most occasions it means overworking as well. So for work beliefs, work equals struggle, work comes first, work must involve sacrifice, work must be hard, work must be earned, success must be deserved, success must be competed for, success can be taken away overnight. I can't make money doing something I love. The kind of work I really like to do is not significant enough. Following my passion won't pay the bills. It doesn't matter if I hate my job. My work should pay well. I must work for as long as it takes to get everything done. I must work for as long as it takes to make everything perfect. I must work for the rest of my life. Good opportunities are hard to find. So a really common one in relation to work that I find when working with people is about work needing to be something that you're putting first as a priority, and almost like you've given your soul to, like you need to kind of keep doing it at all, at all costs. So a really common one in relation to work that I find when working with people is about work needing to be something that you're putting first as a priority, and almost like you've given your soul to, like you need to kind of keep doing it at all, at all costs. So notice how you're feeling in your body as we're reading these to you, and the ones that kind of particularly maybe jolt you or you think, oh, that's me. Quite often with work, when I'm working with people in particular who have been almost working above and beyond what's really expected of them, and putting work above everything else, then there'll be a lot of beliefs relating to that, and we'll look at really unpicking those. For me, I know when I was young, I learned a mantra at school that was something that I then took, and it sort of permeated into every area of my life, not just work. So be curious as well if some of the beliefs link in with other aspects of your life. So the one that I learned, for example, was good, better, best. You will never rest until your good is better and your better best. And so as a result of that, I was always trying to make everything my best, so making it perfect, which led to perfectionism. And I was living that part of you will never rest in a sense of not ever being able to pause and take rest, so burning the candle at both ends. So get really curious about the things that you noticed that you heard as well when you were younger and in different contexts. How you, as you moved through your life, then look to kind of back up those beliefs that came from earlier childhood, and kind of how you've maybe ingrained them. But don't worry, you can absolutely still turn them around. It doesn't mean you've, just because they've been quite ingrained and you've been living them for your whole life to date perhaps, that you can't do something about them. You absolutely can. So the next beliefs we're going to look at are health beliefs.
So here are some examples of old health beliefs that you may have still at the moment. I get ill easily. I am always tired. I have to push through the pain. I can't call in sick. I can't keep up. I don't have time to rest. I don't have time to exercise. Just one more glass. It won't make that much difference. I need to drink to help me sleep or cope. I will exercise next week. I am not over-exercising. I just need to complete this marathon, race or other big challenge. So interestingly, throughout this pandemic, Jayne and I have both had clients who have approached us and telling us that they are getting tired all the time and they can't do anything about it. Now, if that or any of the other beliefs that I read out ring true for you, you need to take ownership of them and flip them around so they can become positive beliefs, because environmental factors, other things aren't going to change them for you. You've got to change them for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's your opportunity now by doing this, almost like a thought edit, clearing out the things that just are not serving you anymore. It's like clearing that thought clutter and replacing anything either with some space or with, as Dylan says, flipping things to the positive, so that you're then affirming to yourself the thing you really need to hear in order to believe that you can take that time out to recharge and get better. Have that conversation with whoever you need to have it with to say, no, do you know what? I'm not doing okay at the moment. I really need some extra rest. I need to reset. I've had, a year of prolonged stress, of not getting enough sleep, of worrying,
Overwork.
And that it's okay to press pause. Give yourself permission to press pause, and give yourself permission in that pause to do what you need to do for you.
And could you give us an example of how you would flip, for example, I'm always tired? What would be a positive belief?
It's possible for me to feel energized. You can start with, if it feels too much of a stretch, to then just say, I am energized, because you're not going to just suddenly flip to being energized, but you can believe it's possible for you to be energized and to live in a balanced way so that you have energy every day for what you need it for.
But by giving yourself that self-talk, talk that is positive, and by saying it's possible, you're just opening the door to change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so go for it. And in part 3, we're going to look at body clutter and relationship clutter, so that each of these areas can start to sync up, impact on each other, and bring better balance for your life.
We'll see you next time.